4:30 will be good. It's a 6 o'clock swing up, so traffic will be picking up that day.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe we
Yeah,
should do it, I think we should do it at my
Yeah.
office then. Cause I might be on the, like, I
Yeah.
won't
You
be,
get the tail end.
I'll bet the tail end, you could get in the back parking lot. I don't know, that's what I'm
Either way,
thinking,
I'm-
it's down to,
You'll
well,
never
you
get
can
in
walk
my
down.
office, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's right,
No.
true. I don't care, you guys tell me, it doesn't
Yes.
matter to me.
No, you decide, we just all leave at
Mason,
4:30 anyway, so
Okay,
I'm not swinging.
His
out there.
degree.
and so if we parked in your parking lot,
You'll never be able to, that's where they,
Oh.
that's where they stage for the.
okay, let's,
Your office would probably still be.
okay, yeah, we'll do it at my office then. I'll reach out to Ashley and maybe then.
I had a good combination.
How'd you know it's up there? It's
Three.
a mile.
We have a quorum, we have
Okay,
seven,
it
all
was,
right.
no, because I.
All right, good.
Before I
I'm trying to see this.
put two and two together.
Not my favorite, but yes, I
Are you
could
looking
do
for a
something
job?
that
As I say, I think that's what I
I
did
think you
on Monday.
That works out.
Okay,
I have four.
Yeah, I'm trying to work that way, that's what I did before.
well, you could try to use the fork.
Just,
You never know what you like.
it would have been 3 years.
All right, so are we on Monday now? All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order, it's actually 8:01. Roll call, all right. Is there a motion to approve the May 22nd agenda?
Motion.
Support. Been moved and supported, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Public comments, is anybody here from the public that would like to speak? Hearing none, all those, moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move the consent agenda for the minutes as prepared and the treasurer's report as received.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Executive Committee, I don't believe we've met this month, did we? Okay. We are continuing to work on our DDA development plan, and actually, we're communicating with a potential new attorney who would be willing to work with the DDA potentially, hopefully the first week of June, as David Churchill is kind of stepping back and kind of ready to retire, so it's kind of let us know that. So anyway, but we did not meet this month. So moving on to committee reports, Outreach Committee.
We did not officially meet this month.
No.
But we did get a couple new sponsorships. Jay Septic, don't know if I mentioned this last month, Jay Septic is doing the $5,000 level sponsor. We also got a sponsorship from Pat Cronin, State Farm, and Kin Tai is also providing a sponsorship as well. Jeff, I don't know if you have any other.
No, other than, I do find some good news on. So, Gestamp, I think we may have a check by next week.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's good news.
yeah, they met in Troy 2 weeks ago. And I got the verbal okay with this phone call yesterday. So that's gonna be coming to the DDA office.
Do you know what level of sponsorship that is?
At 5,000.
Great, that's wonderful. Okay. I'm
No,
not
it's
sure.
just a little sidebar. Speaking of Jay's Septic, I was down at the NFL draft, and I'm looking around, and there's just rows and rows of the porta potties, Jay's Septic. So there's a pier right there, and there are set up for the Grand Prix down there. They're everywhere. I mean, right in
Yeah.
downtown Detroit, there's Jay's the pier.
There you go.
Good.
That's good to see.
Yeah, that's
This
good.
couple of guys was working, and I knew both of them. I'm like, hey, they're like, yeah, this is awesome. They're looking around here. One of them's never been in downtown. He was just blown away. Young kid. So that was fun. So anyway, yeah, that was good news, I think. I apologize, guys, again, but I had a really rough couple of weeks of my wife's cancer, and I've just been so sidetracked, and I haven't feel like I've been too useless outside. I'm just trying to get my own job done.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's okay, our
I
thoughts
feel
are
like I
with
keep
you.
falling on the sword in this, but I do what I can.
That's right. Okay, Business Development Committee.
Business Development Committee did not meet. We had a few members out of town. I completely forgot. Chris remembered, so kudos to Chris for it. But we do need to, and we can figure this out via email, or we could potentially meet early in June if we'd like. But we do get the storytelling blitz from Bill Ike through Michigan Main Street this year. And Bill would like to come on June 20th to do this, where he'd like to crank out 15 stories with photos. So we need to get back with him as to what 15 businesses we would like to feature for that storytelling blitz. So what we need to determine is how do we want to choose those 15 businesses? Are we choosing just 15 that we think have a good story that we want to share, that we want to get out there, kind of show the diverse mix of the downtown? Do we want to put together some criteria for evaluating that and then put a call out to businesses who might be interested? So that's something that we need to discuss pretty soon. So I'll be sending out an email after this meeting so we can kind of come up with a plan on how we want to approach that. Because 15 is a good number, but at the same time, when you start thinking about all the great businesses we have down here, it's going to be hard to narrow it down to 15.
I think it would be hard though between now and June 20th to come up with criteria in time to be able to then select the businesses we pick and have those ready for June 20th.
And unfortunately, so Bill's schedule is so packed. He just messaged us on Monday as far as like, this is the date that seems to work for us. So he's trying to kind of work everything together. I ran into him in Atlanta on the way to the national conference and just kind of reminded him about it. Like, hey, looking forward to our story service this year. And he's like, oh my goodness, that's right. I need to touch base with you guys. So
This is one right here. Rogers,
oh,
downtown pharmacy.
Can you
Like I
send
said,
out
there's
a notice to people, to businesses and whoever, the first 15 that come in or put your quick couple of criteria because you don't have much
well,
time
that's
to put
what
it
we do
together.
need some kind of, I think, criteria to make it fair. Because you also don't want it to be lopsided.
No, but you want them, and not everybody's willing to talk.
Well, we have our
Okay,
board
we have
here.
it.
Let's talk
And we
about
have
the
a question.
criteria.
I
Yeah.
can do that.
So does anybody have any ideas of what the criteria should be?
Well, I think we should, well, first thing that pops in my mind is if we had an older established business as well as the newer businesses. Something on both ends.
Yeah, and I think the range, including, we got the arts, we've got hospitality, Expedia. I mean, I think things that make us unique, more destination, of obviously having those wood chips, but aside of that, we get some others, maybe even Choice One. I mean, Davis serving.
Maybe we should pick criteria of what the businesses are. Restaurants,
Well,
pharmacies.
if we look at the asset mapping, how would that help us, like, figure out some categories?
Who's gonna see this?
Everybody. I mean, it'll go on our social media pages. It'll go on the MEDC's story page.
I think it's important to have a cross section because my
Yeah.
worry is that what if we
Yeah.
get like 13
Yeah.
restaurants and we don't get any. I think even though you want to take who first come first serve, I think we want a cross section. So if we get like 10 restaurants, we can't pick all those restaurants.
Right.
No, I
You
think it
should
needs
look
to
at that
represent-
form
It
of
still
the
should
secret
be
shoppers,
discount.
and all the ones that had
Okay.
stars
Yeah.
that would bring people back, you should consider those ones.
That's a good idea.
No, that's not bad. Yeah.
Because that was an even dispersal between like retail and food and services and things like that. And those were the ones that all the people who came here, who weren't from here, said, this is the thing that would bring me back.
Yeah, I think
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I do think we should have a good diverse where we're representing entertainment, we're representing the arts, we're representing food, we're representing shopping, we're representing services. Because we want people to see that we're a diverse
Yes.
community.
Yeah.
And I think, we've got a downtown Sherwin-Williams, but I think people tend to forget there's a higher leadership, good right there.
Yes.
So there's small town, different kind of services that are available there too, so I think they should be thought of as well. Even though they may be like franchise names or corporate, but
Right. I agree, Jeff.
to show the scope of.
Yeah, some people forget about Ross Automotive and the tire places. I mean, you use them or you don't, but if you just look at like page 6, we have independent businesses, women-owned businesses, locally owned. I mean, what could we put in veteran-owned businesses using those categories? Or page 8, and some of it, just maybe we have a story on some of the assets, like the outdoor recreation that you can do, the kayaking or,
Well, this service is gonna look specifically at the business owners.
businesses, okay.
Yeah. So I think doing a story on the assets we have is great, but that'll be something that we
That
have
would be for another time, okay.
in-house, yeah.
How long are the stories and what's the segment?
It's quick, so this is a story blitz,
Yeah.
so he'll spend, because he's doing 15 of them in one day. So he'll spend about a half an hour to 45 minutes in each location, do a 5 to 10 minute interview, do a photo, and then on to the next one.
So are you happy with kind of what we just said as being our criteria?
Right.
Okay, so then maybe the business development committee could meet and.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of tweak it. If we can tweak it like this week and early next week by email,
Yeah,
I can get it sent out and then get responses back.
yeah. I think you should definitely do it by email because there's no way to have time to do it in other way.
I did put June 20th on my calendar, so that's a fine day for me, no issues.
Okay, anything on else for the business development committee?
That's all I have.
Okay, placemaking committee.
We did meet yesterday, and just kind of touched base on 2 sign applications, which we have further down on our agenda. But then also just did some quick updates on the wayfinding signs and the vibrancy grant. We're getting updated quotes from Signs by Craney for wayfinding. I had a great meeting with DPW. They're working with us on the wayfinding signs. They kind of helped finalize some good placement suggestions. And then they're also willing to help with the installation as well, which will save us some money on the expense side, and then also help offset the match component for that grant. And then also, Housing Department is working on a grant through WISTA, and they've included a line in there for potential funding for wayfinding signs as well to help support the project.
Okay. Any questions about what's going on with the placemaking committee?
Not necessarily a sign, but when are the cupolas going to be back?
Cupolas are installed.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, geez, okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
So
When do
I
they
will
get
send
screwed
you.
down?
I'll send you a photo. So they're still tweaking electrical and lighting. Yeah. I do have a meeting actually early this afternoon with Eric and some members of Olumacon and IntelliStreets. And so Eric and I are going to touch base afterwards on some of the other projects we're working on.
Okay. All right, events committee.
We didn't meet,
Okay.
it's not our quarter.
It's not your quarterly meeting
Right.
time. Okay. Other reports, nothing under subcommittee business, Center for the Arts.
The Peer Art Association opened their annual spring show. It was a very well attended reception on May 10th. The show has a great variety of art and artists. Excellent way to support community art. In the month of May, we had 36 patrons participating in art class. That number is about the same as April. We haven't offered as many classes this month between holiday and the beautiful warm weather. People want to be outside. The gift shop, though, continues to receive new merchandise and is going quite well. Come on in, check it out. The Pix has been busy this May with rentals and a benefit. On May 3rd, TJ Craven performed a benefit concert with the proceeds going towards the Center for the Arts Endowment at the Lapeer County Community Foundation. The show and the Afterglow were a big hit. We raised $3,000 for the endowment, which exceeds our 5% goal that was established with the DDA. On May 4th, we hosted a memorial service for John Loading. On May 10th, the University of Michigan Ann Arbor Theater Department presented With Love from the Inside. This was a touring play written by students and people that are incarcerated. It was not well attended, but the students did do a great job. And the few people that did show up were very interested and did stay for the talkback. So the people that were there had a good experience. On May 11th, Generation Arts had an afternoon of improv at 2:30. May 17th was Ladies' Night Out. According to the women in the gallery, the numbers were down due to the rain, but the double rainbow photos are fantastic. June 7th, Gen Arts Improv is going to be performing at 7:30. And on June 8th, we have a double bill of Allentown and Looking Back. So the first 90 minutes are a Billy Joel tribute, followed by a Bob Seger tribute. On June 15th, we'll have our first movie night, The Incredibles. And on June 19th, our first movie matinee, which is Casablanca. June 28th and 29th, the Youth Theater will present the comic book artists. We have 23 kids participating in that one show. I'm sad to announce that Laurel Droz is leaving the Center for the Arts. Thursday will be her last day. She will be working at the Children's Museum in Flint, where they can pay her more money than we can. Mason Winnock is taking Laurel's place. Mason worked at the PICS when he was in high school. Since then, he graduated from Western Michigan University with a degree in graphic arts. He lived in Colorado for the past 2 years and returned to Michigan because he didn't like working in a cubicle. Mason and Laurel have had last week and this week to transition, so that's working out well. But he'll still need extra time. Michigan Art and Culture Council has totally revamped their grant programming. There is a new 40-page guideline. Basically, the council has flattened out all of their grant programs, and so the maximum, I believe, is $30,000, and that's for everyone. So it used to be a tiered program where it was based on what your annual budget was. So in our tier, the most that we could apply for was $30,000, but the DIA having a higher, they could apply for more. They flattened all of that. And in doing so, they've also flattened out the capital improvements as well. So instead of getting a percentage of what you're asking for, again, it's another, and I think it's 30,000 is the max, and that's all across the boards. They've also changed the entire grant program. There's not as much narrative, it's more fact-based. They've eliminated peer reviews. I'm not sure how they're going to review these, but there is still a narrative. There's one narrative question and there is one attachment, and that's it. We will be applying for, it's no longer called operational support, but in essence, it's operational support. And I'm going to try to apply for capital improvement for the sound system for the PICS. I'm working on getting the exterior of Gallery 194 repainted. We are faded and peeling. The gallery carpeting on the ramp and upper gallery is in need of replacing. I had submitted estimates over a year ago to the former city manager. That never came to fruition, so I'm going to go back, revisit that, as well as the in-between room, which is the room that is in between the green room and the stage. It's in also dire need of repair. It's a tile floor, and within the past year, those tiles are cracking, breaking, and are now missing. I will get new estimates on all of this and turn those into the city manager and copy both you and Jim. And I have not heard from Lake Orion Plumbing and Heating. That saga will continue. We've had, we got our quarterly report from the ticketing company for the first quarter, the January to March quarter. a total of 4,574 customers. Of those, 2,284 were active and 382 are new. And any questions?
Is that Lake Orion part missing? Does that affect your pension?
Yes, it's the whole unit, it's the roof units. And now the part is in, they're supposed to be organizing, getting Court Street shut down so that the crane can come and get the old unit off and the new units on.
All right, thanks, Joe. All right, moving on to staff report.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Just a few updates today. Back from the Main Street Now conference in Birmingham. Overall, it was a really good conference, had some good sessions. A lot of them focused on storytelling this year, as well as utilizing data, which is great because we're doing the storytelling blitz this year, and then also through Michigan Main Street and Main Street America, we're going to be utilizing Placer AI for some data analytics, looking at our downtown that uses like GIS mapping and basically uses cell phone data to tell us how many people are visiting the community, where they're coming from, the time of day they're coming, where they're going. And so we're going to get a kind of a broad picture for the scope of a year. And then they'll also do like a single event, which might be like the car cruise. It could be a concert series, but it will be an event of our choosing that they look at to kind of tell that information, which then gives us an opportunity to tell that story and also gives us good information to share with businesses, potential partners, et cetera. So I think that'll be really useful. Also, one of the exciting things that they announced at the conference is the launch of the Main Street Solutions Center. This is something that everybody will have access to. Everybody in this room will have access. Every downtown across the country will have access to it. It is a collection of resources, all free, on best practices, ideas, toolkits, on just about every topic you can think of that falls under like the Main Street 4 points of design, placemaking, events, promotion, marketing. So it'll be a great, great tool. And it was spearheaded by Michigan Main Street. So we had a lot of influence in that. So I will be sending out the kind of catalog to everybody and then links to all the resources that are available. So I'd encourage you to, when you have some time, to just kind of scroll through it and check it out. There's a lot of original content, plus content that's been collected from other communities across the country. So it'll be a great resource. Next year's conference will take place in Philadelphia, and it will be on April 7th, 8th, and 9th. So earlier in the season this year, which I think is a good thing, having it right at the beginning of May, and then coming back and your events are launching and everything's kind of in full swing, definitely makes it a little bit of a challenge. But again, overall, the conference was really good. Had some travel pickups, spent the night in the Atlanta airport. That was fun. But like I said, overall, a good time. Today, this afternoon, I'm going to be meeting with Illuminating Concepts and Atella Streets, and then also Eric from our Parks Department. We're kind of looking at speaker systems for the downtown streetlights. This has been something that's been on our strategy list for a while, and our goals, something that the public has asked about numerous times. Doesn't mean we're necessarily going forward with anything, but we want to start getting some costs, some ideas as to what it's going to do or what it's going to cost us. And then potentially, if there's some grants out there that could support it, it's something that we can explore. This particular model through Intella Streets is really cool. It builds off of the existing streetlights we have right now through Lumicon by installing nodes into them, and then it can install speakers. They can do notification lighting, weather updates, emergency updates. They can do traffic counts. There's all kinds of possibilities. Now, obviously, all that comes with different price points, but there's a lot that can be done with the system that was installed in the downtown. So we're going to get some more information on that this afternoon. And then I mentioned that Eric and I are going to touch base on some of the other projects that we're working on together. Which one thing I want to mention, and Eric and I have talked about this, and Rodney and I and Ryan, and we really want to emphasize how nice it's been within the past year. And I don't know if, Mike, if this is a credit to you or just everybody as a whole, but the collaboration that's been taking place between like Parks and DPW and just the different departments with the DDA this year has been refreshing. It's been nice. And we all appreciate that. I've had those guys comment to me and vice versa. So happy to see that. Also, a couple more quick updates. May 30th and 31st, a few of us will be in Cadillac for the Connecting Entrepreneurial Communities Conference. Lapeer will be hosting next year. The dates for 2025, when Lapeer will be hosting, will be May 29th and 30th. So again, it's a Thursday, Friday, noon to noon. We can anticipate 100 plus downtown professionals, downtown individuals who are all interested in supporting small towns. My personal goal, the record for attendance for one of these conferences was set by Port Huron in 2019 with 133 people. I think we can break it. So that's my goal is to beat that record. And then another cool update. I've mentioned before, and we've talked about how people are looking at Lapeer as an example. So on June 14th of this year, the MEDC is going to be hosting their full staff meeting in Lapeer. So we will be having 30 to 40 members of the MEDC, Main Street, redevelopment ready services, historic preservation, small business, et cetera, will all be here for their full staff meeting. And then they're going to be doing some tours of various downtown locations, especially looking at projects that the MEDC has supported. So that'll be a nice opportunity again to kind of showcase our community. And then Monday at the City Commission meeting, the city did officially approve work on parking lot number 5, which is the parking lot behind Choice One Bank. You can anticipate work starting on that lot starting right after Lapeer Days or shortly after Lapeer Days. And then just a quick note, we'll be hanging the spirit flags tomorrow. I've got a handful of volunteers. I think we're in good shape. But if anybody's interested in coming out, climbing a ladder and hanging, not the spirit flags, sorry.
I'm like,
Yeah,
the
sorry, not the
spirit
spirit
flags.
flags.
Okay.
The hometown hero.
I was wondering.
Yeah, spirit flags will be in a couple weeks for hometown hero banners tomorrow. And we are getting 4 more brackets to add banners to Cedar Street next to Rogers Pharmacy. DPW has looked at those street lights and they're confident that they can get those installed for us.
Great. Is that it?
That's it.
All right, moving on to new business, we have sign assistance grant applications.
So we have received 2 grant applications. The design committee or placemaking committee did review and look at those applications. There are printouts in front of you or with you. One is for Cherry's Market and one is for Cummings Chiropractic. Both of these are for vinyl window signs. Cherry's on the front of her building and Cummings Chiropractic on the front of their building as well across the window area. The recommendations from the placemaking committee after reviewing these is for approval of Cummings Chiropractic and not approval of Cherry's. Reason being is with the sign application, Section 2 of the sign guidelines states before purchasing the sign or installing the sign, the applicant must complete step 4 in this guide. Otherwise, it will not be eligible for funding. Step 4 is the applicant must arrange for sign construction and installation in accordance with the approved sign design by the Main Street Placemaking Committee or Design Committee. The sign for Cherry's Market is already installed, so it would have been installed prior to approval. So the recommendation from the Placemaking Committee is approval of Cummings Chiropractic, but not Cherry's Market. So both signs are great. They look really nice. I think they're nice signs.
Right.
Does that meet the criteria for our signs for,
Yes.
I know you can only have so much sign on your windows.
Yeah, they both
That have
actually
to
meet the
change.
sign.
Just want to make sure
Yeah.
before we approve and they get up and then they don't, so.
Right. So is there a motion regarding the recommendation, or is there a discussion?
I'll move that we approve the signs as recommended by the police committee.
Is there support?
Support.
Oh,
The one, like they're
just the one,
recommending.
right?
Yeah, well, there's the
Just the one,
recommendation.
Yeah. So is there any further discussion?
Is that like a decal? I mean, can light go through that? Or is that like a,
So on Cummings chiropractic, it's not frosted. Those are supposed to represent clear windows. It's just the way that Science by Craney did the design.
Oh.
Yeah, it's confusing. Yeah, that was a common question yesterday. So yeah, the windows would be clear. It would just be the white vinyl on the windows. Yeah.
All right, hearing any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. We have no old business, board member comments.
I had a quick question. I noticed on Saturday that apparently we have a competing farmers market out at TSC. What's up with that?
Starting in
It's-
April.
Did it?
Yeah, my understanding is it's a private market. They started their own thing in partnership with TSC. Yeah. I don't know a lot of the details behind the organization.
The city commission did approve it. It's called the Eastern Farmers Market. So I haven't been there. Has there been quite a few
I didn't look like it was very full with vendors or attendees, but I didn't know anything about it. I was just kind of surprised that there was two in town, and why wouldn't they have combined with, our farmers market? I don't, just curious.
I think that the one downtown will be really, really well attended because it's back down in front of the old courthouse, so I think that'll be, how, they start
They've started,
I think
yeah,
it's
the downtown one has started.
Saturday.
Saturdays have been pretty well received. Wednesdays, they're still struggling.
Yeah.
They can definitely use more vendors, especially on Wednesdays.
Mhm.
Early in the season, it's challenging because we're Michigan, so farms don't have the produce or food selections. But they're open to more flour options, baked goods, handmade items, things like that.
Mhm. Any other board member comments? All right, there's no correspondence that I'm aware of. Did you do anything with this other than the fact that this is your,
That's just my proof.
Yeah. okay, all right. As you remember, we approved Jim's increase in his compensation last month, and there was a contract addendum that was prepared and submitted for the city commission's approval, but Jim did provide me documentation of the increase in the stipend on the health insurance part of it. So I do have that just for everybody's information.
The I envision, I just haven't had a chance to really look and dive into it yet.
So hearing no other, and there being no correspondence, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
We're adjourned. That's pretty quick meeting. Half hour.
Yeah. Geez, I might have time to visit the farmer's market.
They're not open yet.
I know, I think I'm open until 9, but I'm meeting a group of people to walk at 9:30, so there's a little bit of time in there.
You got the memo why we were switching so much back.
Cool.
Who runs your farm?
Runs what?
Save Memorial.
Who runs it? Amanda and
City treasurer.
Well, thanks for recommending that. Wasn't- That's kind of fortuitous we talked about.
That's a good reason to
Well,
check.
that's-
Oh,
No.
yeah? I'll come visit you and show you. I had a whole proposal drawn out a year ago, and couldn't get the money. So I asked him to update that. But I haven't got a chance yet, because, yeah, Amanda does.
Wayne goes, are we gonna have the?
You run it, you run it.
I go there all the time. I'm
I
always
know
just,
you do.
I'm always like, wow, they got 4K.
Oh, well, we're discussing.
Yeah, it's, you're looking to come see our independence.
Wayne goes. Well,
Okay.
what groups?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
You're there all the
American
time.
Legion, the Sons of American Legion, the VFW, the 40th and 8th, and Wayne goes, well, I'm the 40th and 8th, and we're not discussing it. I mean, He never contacted, me. What's there to discuss? Get it in the name. I got a copy now. Glenn does too, so I said to him, I said, we're starting in August for Veterans Day.
Because we didn't have.
Have we had enough time?
I'll
We're
have
gonna
time, I'll
put
look at
these
the
together
criteria,
too,
and I'll
for
email
both.
text you this morning.
Try to get a lower insurance.
Well.
Or maybe a smaller amount, because that Veterans Day one was